This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by TidalHealth.
April is widely recognized as Workplace Violence Awareness Month. It's a time dedicated to raising awareness and working to prevent workplace violence. Certain steps are necessary to create a safe and supportive environment for everybody. It's something that the professionals at TidalHealth take very seriously. And with us this afternoon to tell us more, Mr. Steve Leonard. He's the president and CEO of TidalHealth. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Why is Workplace Violence Awareness Month such an important thing for healthcare organizations, especially TidalHealth?
Sure. You know, supporting our team members is probably the most important thing we do. Obviously, we're nothing without our team members, and in order for us to provide great health care, we have to make sure that our team members are safe and are respected during the caregiving process. And it's safe to say, you know, April is that month when it's highlighted, but it's become more and more challenging over the last several years.
How so? What are some of the challenges healthcare workers face?
Sure. Yeah. No. I think people commonly think about the national events. You start hearing about York, Pennsylvania. Some of the what I call kind of the low probability, high severity events like shootings.
Right.
These things do happen in healthcare, tragically and unfortunately. But just as importantly, it's the day-to-day challenges that our nursing team experiences. If you look at the evidence, a nurse is either verbally or physically abused every 30 hours he or she works.
Oh my goodness.
And when you've got 1,000 nurses, it's an everyday phenomenon. And for some of us who've been in healthcare a little while now, the frequency is clearly rising. 25 years ago, it was an exception. Now it seems to be the norm. And we really have to figure out a way to change this paradigm. It can't continue like it is.
Yeah. So what can you do? What are you doing to make it safer on the job?
Sure. Yeah. So I think the first thing is we're really working now towards building awareness as to what's acceptable behavior and what's not. On that low probability, high severity scenario, we are looking at how we secure our buildings better. But at the same time, on that everyday verbal and physical abuse, really creating an understanding with our patients and visitors of what's acceptable and what's not, and really supporting our team at using the chain of command and responding appropriately so we can address those needs. And again, it's important to know that I'm not talking about grandma with dementia.
Right.
And I'm not talking about severe behavioral health challenges where somebody might be having a psychotic episode. We totally understand when people are not able to, are in a position to really control their behavior.
Right.
It's really, quite honestly, folks who find it acceptable to be inappropriate, yet they understand what they're doing.
So would it be safe to say a culture of safety and respect?
Absolutely.
What does that look like?
Yeah, sure. So I think, we want to take great care of our patients. You know, patients have rights, and we want to make sure that we're having high quality. At the same time, I think what you'll probably see going forward is a communication and awareness about responsibilities of patients when interacting with our team members. Yelling, cursing, shouting, or physically grabbing, punching. We've had staff members who have been kicked, bitten,
Really?
Punched, and threatened to be killed. And it's that type of behavior that going forward, much like we have recently, where we will engage the law enforcement to respond appropriately.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
because you've already got workers who have faced this, as
Yes.
you just said.
Yep.
So what do you do for these workers after they face something like that?
Yeah, no, we want to be sensitive. You know, these are we call them micro traumas in many ways. Some are more traumatic, but when they happen frequently like this, or in the case of a more severe event, we want to make sure we're supporting that team member in real time. One of the most important things is we can do as leaders is to be there. We're encouraging our team to use the chain of command. There's always an administrator on call every week. I'm actually on call this week.
Okay.
So I expect to be called in, to address patient care or visitor-related needs or other things that may happen across the system. So having leadership aware and present, engaging the patients or families in a constructive way. People may lose the ability for visiting people if they can't behave appropriately.
Right.
And for our
So
staff,
it's not just patients.
no, it's
It can be
probably
visitors.
half and half.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. And when our staff do experience such event, we want to support them. It could be as straightforward as like we encourage them to take a break. Let's take take a half an hour. Let's get out of the patient care environment. We want to get better at supporting that type of response, as well as perhaps the rest of the day. Like, this has been such an event. Like, how can we support our team members and maybe just taking the day? And sometimes it's working through the process when it is so severe. Charges have to be pressed. We had a nurse get kicked in the stomach, and she was pregnant.
Oh dear.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not making this up. And this is just within the last 2 months. All of these things have happened. And so sometimes we have to file charges, and we want to support our team members, really, because again, if they do it once, they may do it again. It's just a matter of time. And so I think, from a public perspective, we need to be more visible in doing these things. Unfortunately, that's really the only. I often give the analogy: would you do this in a church or on an airplane? Would you do it on a church or on an airplane? And if the answer is no, you shouldn't be doing it in a healthcare environment.
Your patients are important, but so are your team members.
We're nothing without our team. At the end of the day, it's a big building with walls.
Steve Leonard, President and CEO of TidalHealth, thank you so much for talking to us.
No, thanks for having us and helping create awareness.